Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Hello and welcome to this video. We are doing episode 4 of Welcome to Night Vale. I hope people are enjoying this. These full episodes that I'm doing on the weekends. So let's jump into this real quick.
The sun has grown so very, very old. How long cold, fading death.
That's kind of an interesting intro.
How long? Welcome to Night Vale.
I think every episode has a unique and individual intro. Or I should say they verbalize something unique. Some pretty groovy music. If my Audible player was more reliable, I'd skip through it. Or I should say, if I could control it better. It's some pretty good music.
Our top story. Last night's Night Vale PTA meeting ended in bloodshed as a rift in space-time split open in the Main Street Recreation Center auditorium, setting loose several confused and physically aggressive pteranodons.
Yeah, dinosaurs just popping out of a time rift, probably not the best way to conduct a PTA meeting, or I should say that's probably detrimental to the progression of the agenda within a PTA meeting.
The glowing portal remained open and shrieked incessantly, an unholy sound that witnesses say resembled noisy urchin children caught in a combine harvester.
Not real sure what to say.
And then slowed down and amped up through some kind of open source, easy to use audio editing software.
You know, we're in the 21st century when you can do that, make that a through, the part of a joke.
The pteranodons mostly attacked women with glasses.
Maybe pteranodons don't like glasses. Or maybe they do like glasses. They like shiny, glassy things.
Authorities are still unsure why, as Night Vale's only flying dinosaur expert, Joel Eisenberg, still has not recovered from last year's bout with throat spiders.
Throat spiders? Sounds like not fun. A lot of not fun.
It took most of an hour to corral the panicked beasts back into the vortex and resume the meeting, which had mostly been about recent lunchroom price hikes and had devolved into name-calling
I've never been to a PTA meeting. A lot of that is not having kids. But from what people have told me that have been members of PTA and stuff that have kids, that is usually how a PTA meeting adjourns. People calling each other names.
because Susan Willman called Diane Creighton's son, Josh, a bit tubby, and that maybe he needs a financial incentive to eat a bit less. In this reporter's opinion, Susan Willman is dangerously obsessed with the New York Times best-selling Freakonomics books.
Freakonomics. You gotta love that.
Dangerously so. Fortunately, no one was injured or killed in the incident, although experts from Timothy's Auditorium Repair Contractors, Inc. estimates close to $750,000 in damage has been done to the rec center auditorium.
Which actually, in this day and age, flying dinosaurs, not a lot of damage. I mean, think about it.
And that cost includes free storm windows and a complimentary seasonal insulation consultation.
Gets convenient.
It's election season again, and you know what that means. Sheriff's secret police will be coming by to collect certain family members so that everyone votes for the correct council seats and there's no confusion.
Ah. Sounds like a small town government to me. Or a large country. Maybe some of our friends, that are in the Eurasia part of the world. Kind of looking at you, Russia and China, North Korea, just because don't want you to feel left out, Rocket Man.
These family members will be held in a secure and undisclosed location, which everyone knows is the abandoned mine shaft outside of town.
Yeah, if everyone knows, it's, well, I guess if you don't actually publicly announce it, it's still non-disclosed. People just know where it's at. It is what it is.
But don't let the name fool you, listeners. It's been used for years for so many kidnappings and illegal detentions that the abandoned mine shaft outside of town is actually a pretty nice location.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Kind of like I forget the name of the town that the Scooby-Doo gang are originally from, but in some of the fairly modern post-2000 Scooby-Doo cartoons that have been published, their town is kind of like Night Vale
these days, featuring king-size beds, free Wi-Fi, and HBO. Also, torture cubicles, but I don't think anyone's going to make the council use those.
Yeah, when part of your undisclosed holding center has king-size beds and torture cubicles, that's rather interesting.
Remember, this is America. Vote correctly, or never see your loved ones again.
Mm-hmm. And we'll see what happens November 5th, 2024 here in America. See if we wind up with that policy.
This message brought to you by the City Council.
Yes. All city councils need to put messages out there like that for the people, just to reinforce confidence.
The Night Vale Daily Journal today announced that due to the recent economic downturn, they will start running ads on the front page. Any business interested in running one of these Platinum Premium ads should contact editor Leanne Hart.
And get your ad put up. I'm chewing on some chocolate, candy-coated chocolate bits that, for some reason, the green ones tend to arouse Tucker Carlson. So that's what you see me picking up in my mouth.
Hart mentioned that they have also created a Write Your Own News Story program for interested citizens.
Now, that can be fun.
Because every writer has been laid off, The Daily Journal now needs these community contributions to supply Night Vale with important news and features.
And being from the citizenry, we know it's going to be researched and well thought out.
The first Platinum Premium ad runs next Monday and features the terrified face of an infant primate with a superimposed spoon that has been stone sharpened to a rough point, and the tagline, "Better use Tide."
Yeah, that's just hilarious.
Hart also said that last year's explosion that decimated the Daily Journal's distribution plant is still totally an accident.
Yes, because that's what people that have total and absolute accidents say.
And would like her insurance rep to call her back. Please, call her back.
Yeah. Call her back and find out what's going on.
This just came across the wire. The secret police have issued a new statement.
Yeah, you gotta love it when you openly admit you have a secret police force.
Shedding more light onto last night's PTA meeting incident. The noisy portal and subsequent dinosaur attack that brutally interrupted discussion of swing set repairs on the elementary school playground stayed open long after Recreation Center employees thought they had rounded up all of the ancestral avian beasts.
That is never a good thing.
And authorities warn there is still at least one more pteranodon on the loose.
Yay, pteranodons!
Citizens should cover themselves with a low SPF sunscreen and hide in a tiled bathroom.
Okay. I guess that specifically protects you against flying dinosaurs.
Several curious handball players in the court next to the auditorium actually popped their heads into the portal just to see what was on the other side of the vortex, and came back dramatically changed.
And in this particular universe, that can mean a whole lot more than what you think.
The players aged several thousand years in what bystanders experienced as only a few seconds.
That's never good.
Those handball players now straddle the unenviable border of millennially wizened and cripplingly insane.
Yeah, I don't know. That most people I know that religiously play handball, that's kind of like a default setting.
Since psychological and emotional damages are no longer considered valid claims by the greater medical insurance community.
You know, let's look at the American healthcare system for a minute. The for-profit American healthcare system, by the way.
We are still reporting 0 injuries. We'll update you as further details
Yeah, that's convenient.
surface in our special ongoing and very special coverage of Pteranodon Attack Gate. Are we safe from dinosaurs? No way.
No way. You just gotta love the way he just drops his voice and goes, no way.
City Council has asked me to read the following
The city council here, if I remember, can be rather insane.
message. If you notice strange auras around any of the following objects in your house: blender, shower head, dog, husband, wife, table, chair, doorknob, baseboard, Vacation souvenirs or photos, collectibles of any kind, especially those depicting or involving horses,
Well, this seems to be a fairly long list.
DVDs, especially Cliffhanger, There's Something About Mary, and The Wire 4th season, and any bagged lettuce from California or Mexico.
We're getting rather specific now, aren't we?
Please report to the council for indefinite detention.
It's probably... there's no telling what that could be in this universe. It's just hilarious.
Speaking of the city council, it voted this week to remove the large lead-plated door from the northeasternmost crook of Radon Canyon. You know, the area pulsing with green light and sotto voce basso humming.
Yeah, that.
Proponents of the measure called the large yellow emblem and red lettering that spelled out, "Danger, plutonium, do not open."
This is going south really fast.
Door, risk of death, were, at worst, an offensive eyesore and, at best, a hacky sci-fi cliche.
You know, as out there as a lot of this stuff is, with what's transpired over the last 8-10 years, this could be just like every day, you know, at least in the general part of the world that I live in.
Many Night Vale citizens attended the meeting, including, it was said, several angels.
So yeah, you gotta... The angels are kind of a thing.
Although no angel is admitted to have been present for the city council meeting or any other event ever, for that matter. Old woman Josie agreed with the measure, adding that lead is a health hazard.
Yes, it is. Especially when you put it in your paint chips. Especially when you put it in your edible paint chips.
And that the old door was nothing but a ticking time bomb. According to the meeting
Yeah, maybe.
minutes, Josie said, "That old door. Ooh, that door. Someone's gonna get some kind of lead poisoning."
You know, it is, you know, you go mess with lead, you know.
Carlos, beautiful Carlos, tragically shorn of his locks, reportedly was the only dissenting voice. But it
Yeah, let the scientist, you know, be the only dissenting voice.
is not clear he actually opposed the measure, as the minutes only report him stating, "There is no time, no more time," into a black rectangle in his hand, and then running, winded, from the community hall.
There's no telling, absolutely no telling.
According to old woman Josie, he was still absolutely perfect and smelled of lavender chewing gum.
Okay, lavender chewing gum. Never have I ever encountered that in our world, so...
More breaking news on the Pteranodons. We humbly offer the following retractions from our previous reports.
This is gonna be hilarious.
Secret police are now reporting that the offending beasts were not pteranodons after all, but pterodactyls.
As if when something prehistoric is trying to eat you, you know, like a, you know, the name inaccuracy maybe not a big deal at the time.
Also, pteranodons aren't even dinosaurs, as this station previously stated, just winged reptiles that lived about 70 million years after pterodactyls.
Oh, so the pterodactyls are even older.
finally, earlier we reported a death toll of 0, when, in fact, the number is closer to 38.
That is some like CNN reporting right there.
We regret these errors. It's almost football season, and
yeah, this is the the sports stuff is just kind of funny, weird all at the same time.
the Night Vale Scorpions are gearing up for a defense of their high school division title. But really, as long as we beat Desert Bluffs, fans and hooded figures alike will feel just fine.
Yep. That's just so Texas high school football.
Coach Nazar Al-Mujahid told reporters he's particularly excited for the progress junior quarterback Michael Sandero made during the offseason, after that sentient lightning bolt struck him and gave him the strength of 2 Jeeps and the intelligence of a heavily concussed Rene Descartes.
If you know who Rene Descartes is, you understand the next layer of that joke. That, if you don't know who Rene Descartes is, Google him. Because knowing who he is and knowing some of the things he did in history makes that joke even funnier.
But if Night Vale is going to beat their bitter rivals this year and stave off the government-administered pestilence that follows a losing season record...
that explains the hometown I grew up in, Copper's Cove, Texas. For like 18 years. Actually, I don't know exactly how long, but from about 1982 to about 1994, their football team would be 0-10, just like every year. Almost every year.
Sandero will have to improve his accuracy. Last year, Sandero only completed 2 out of 130 pass attempts.
Probably not going to a college on a sports scholarship with those kind of numbers.
Most notably because he was in advanced stages of cerebral palsy, and because his throwing hand had been removed.
Well, okay, mitigating circumstances there too.
Due to several overdue library books. Apparently, the off-season lightning strike had healed Sandero of his terminal ailments and court-ordered amputations. And
I love that. Court-ordered amputations.
he's ready to take on Desert Bluffs, which is probably the worst team ever.
Yep, that rivalry, town-to-town rivalry.
God, they're dreadful. And now, an editorial. Let's talk for a moment about apartment building etiquette.
Uh-oh. This should be hilarious.
Now, I myself live in an apartment building, and there is a compassion and acceptance you have to have for a certain level of annoyance.
Yes, you do.
It's people in close proximity to each other, and so there will be some things that you don't like and still have to let go.
Yes, had lived in an apartment so long before we moved out to this property. Yeah, that's very accurate.
But other things are absolutely unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, a certain level of strange radiating light or heat on shared walls is expected.
Yes, it is. Always, trust me.
But any oozings or visible membranes are rude and thoughtless to all of your neighbors.
So remember that if you live in an apartment or if you find yourself in an apartment.
Gibbering, howling, And chants in long-dead languages are the kind of thing that is fine at 1 p.m., but absolutely not fine at 1 a.m.
Yes. But, it is what it is. Never had to deal with that. It had to deal with loud music every now and again, but, never chanting.
We are all in this together. Put your trash in the cans, not in the hallway leading to the cans.
That sounds like some college kid stuff to me.
Put on some clothes when standing in front of your windows.
Yes, because the apartment complex that I lived in, people would forget that, and yeah, you would see things that you probably didn't want to see.
And keep any rituals or crazed experiments to hours in which no one is trying to sleep.
That's courtesy. Let people try to sleep.
It doesn't have to be hard.
That's what she said.
We have a very unexpected treat today, dear listeners. Live in the studio, we have one of the mysterious hooded figures often seen.
That's kind of interesting.
Around town. We did not actually invite him here. He just was waiting for us when we unlocked the studio this morning.
That's never good.
He has not moved nor spoken since then. And I'll be honest, I am only guessing that he is a he.
You got a point. If it's a robed and hood figure, you never know.
Because physical attributes are hard to determine under these robes, and the face is entirely hidden in shadow, as empty and as black as the void of space.
Or some people's soul.
But hey, we're doing radio. He's in a radio station. Let's see if we can get an interview.
Yeah.
Mr. Hooded Figure, how are you doing today? Ah.
I like the static effect. That's kind of cool.
Okay. Care to comment on the recent expansion of the Forbidden Dog Park? Any comments at all?
I like the white noise building up in the background.
Anything you'd like to tell the ordinary folk of Night Vale about your organization?
You may want to lay off the questions there, Cecil.
Listeners, I'm sure you can hear this. It's not a problem with your radio or our transmitters. The hooded figure is making those noises in our studio.
That's kind of weird.
It's pretty deafening, actually. Alright, I don't think he's going to stop, and he started to levitate, so...
Satanic Jedi.
Let's go to the weather.
Okay, we'll listen to a little bit of the weather, then we'll skip through it.
Now I'm thinking maybe I was stoned. I felt my feet lift off the ground.
Yep. This is a long weather break. Long. Yeah. Oh, I hate the audio player. The Audible audio player sometimes. Here. Okay, I paused the video. The Audible player just went berserk and started skipping around. So I stopped the video, exited it out, restarted the player, and so we should be able to go from here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just received word from secret police that the rip in space-time that opened at last night's PTA meeting has been sealed at last.
Well, that's a good thing.
The final missing pterodactyl has been returned to its own timeline in either prehistoric or alternate universe Night Vale.
And there is no telling.
The creature's lifeless body was found a dozen yards outside of the dog park entrance, stripped of all flesh, and with most of the organs inverted and...
That is not a mental picture that I want to have, is, organs inverted, because organs are kind of gross on the inside of the organ.
Strung around its exposed skull, like an old-fashioned soft meats crown, as worn by the 18th century religious leaders who settled our fair burg.
That's kind of gross. Actually, that's like way gross, but funny. Extremely funny, though.
The dinosaur's body was returned to the vortex, the gateway closed, and the PTA meeting rescheduled for next Tuesday at 6 p.m.
Yeah, it just every day. Do. Actually, welcome to Nightville. Kind of reminds me of several years ago, when the government was going, yes, there are UFOs, blah, 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 blah. And people were going, yeah, okay, whatever. That's, that's this whole thing.
That meeting will continue to address the important issue of backpacks and whether or not they are causing autism.
Yeah.
There will also be a memorial service for the 38 parents and teachers who lost their lives in the attack, followed by a raffle.
Yeah, thing is, I've seen some sketchy city council people in the area I live in, and yeah, I could see somebody doing that. Somebody who's popular, big, you would have a big thing like that. I could see them doing that. I could see them do that to raise money.
Remember, winners must be present at the time of the drawing to claim their prizes. City Council and secret police have issued a reminder that Night Vale citizens of all species,
I like that, of all species,
and all geologic eras are not to enter, look at, or think too long about the dog park.
Yeah, the dog park is a reoccurring thing too, and there's some of the stories that have evolve around the dog park that were just funny.
This reminder, they say, is completely unrelated to anything that may or may not have happened today.
Yeah, it may or may not have happened today. Yeah, I've had supervisors talk to me like that.
Coming up next, stay tuned for our 1-hour special, Morse Code for Trumpet Quintets. And listeners.
Yeah, because all trumpet quintets want to learn Morse code.
Night Vale is an ancient place, full of history and secrets, as we were reminded today.
Yeah, with the whole flying dinosaurs.
But it is also a place of the present moment, full of life and of us. If you can hear my voice speaking live, then you know we are not history yet.
That is, at a philosophical level, that's just a way cool thing.
We are happening now. How miraculous is that?
Ram Dass was fond of saying, "Be here now." Just be here now.
Good night, listeners. Good night.
So, I hope you enjoy this, had as much fun listening to it as I did. And as always, people, be a good human, be good to other humans. Peace.
Hey, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?